Hello and welcome to Ledgercast. My name is Brian Krogsgaard. I'm here with Josh Olsowich. Hey, Josh.
Mr. Brian,
We're getting.
good to be with
It's
you.
great to be with you. We're getting trolled by the chat. We're trying to have a personal conversation with the chat, make them feel, like friends, and they're just like, shut up and talk markets. So here we are.
We're just being real, man. We're
trying to
just
be
people
real.
at the end of the day,
That's right. We're just people trying to be real, trying to do more than just bring you the charts and talk about price action. We're human beings on the other end of the line, Josh. That's
I
okay.
woke up I woke up mere moments ago, you know.
You've been up for ages now. Minutes.
Literal minutes. I did my vocal exercises to get ready for this.
Good. We are prepared. We're going to talk about markets, but before we do, I want to tell you about token sets because we are brought to you by token sets. You can go to ledgerstatus.com/sets and you will see this page for the folks on the stream. It's simplified asset management. They have battle tested tools so that you can easily manage your own crypto portfolio and actually send that to people for like your family or friends to copy directly, or you can invest in indexes or curated portfolios like the DeFi Pulse Index. They have all of that at Token Sets. It's really cool. I have one called Tulip on there that people can follow. It's currently losing a little bit of money, so that happens in markets. They go up and they go down. But
They
no
go
matter,
down. What?
sometimes they go down. But no matter what, you can trust in Token Sets to be a great provider of simplified asset management. Go to ledgerstatus.com/sets. And thanks to the team at Token Sets for being a partner for Ledgercast. ETH is $1,500, making a lower high. Bitcoin is $48,000, making a lower high. Josh, is this consolidation or are we in trouble?
I was looking at the consolidation in January, how we had that nice W. When it was happening, I didn't see it as a W, but obviously a few days after the fact, the Elon candle, all that nonsense, it was a W. I don't know if this is going to turn into a W, but ETH looks phenomenal on the 4 hour. I haven't been this excited about an ETH trade since the ascending triangle in January, late January.
So you think it looks phenomenal as a reversal pattern off of prior all-time highs, basically, right?
Yeah, I like everything about this. I like the only thing that I don't like about ETH is the fundamentals. Like the fee issues aren't going away anytime soon. That's like the hardest pill to swallow. If you're going to long ETH, you have to realize that the upside might be super limited because fees are still high. Fees aren't going any lower anytime soon.
Although, as we talked about last week, Vitalik fixed some of that purely with the gas token change or proposed change, and then people stopped minting Chi and whatever other gas tokens. Had an immediate impact to bring gas to like a expensive but tolerable level. But yeah, it'll continue to be a problem, especially during times of stress. But it seems to at least have been tempered somewhat in my mind.
Yeah, but times of stress are now, right? Like this isn't bear market doldrums. This is everybody doing everything everywhere. Banksy's doing NFTs, and it goes on and on. Stuff that people have heard for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's not going away. Gas is still double what it was last night, overnight. So that's not exactly healthy for speculation in general. We are seeing ETH increase in total ETH in the fund despite a negative premium, which is weird.
Yeah, they're going after them with these discounts on GBTC and ETH. The premium trade is being. Do you think it's being attacked, or is this just like retail stock people capitulating, or what the heck is up with that?
All I can say is I want as much chaos as possible with everything. So
You're a
I
chaos maximalist.
I'm a chaos maximalist. I want that premium to go so negative. I want there to be headlines. I want there to be people screaming in the streets about GBTC and ETH. I mean, that's what brings people in is the drama. Let's be real. Um, you want as much nonsensical drama as you can. The same thing with EIP 1559. We're about to see some minor drama that we haven't seen since BTC 2017. The miners are not happy. There was a really interesting graphic from the block about miners who are collecting fees and how they're voting on EIP 1559, and a vast majority of them who are getting most of the fees voted no, obviously because they're cutting their own paycheck, right? So
Yeah.
you're not gonna vote for your own pay cut. For most people aren't anyway. So do I think they're gonna fork? I don't know. Like they can try. They could try to go to ETC. I just think I mean, I'm not an ETH miner, but I think they're being a little greedy in the assumption that they're going to remain fat and happy forever.
Yeah.
I think it's a little too obvious that obviously they're making way too much money, right?
Yeah, it is very profitable to be a ETH miner right now, so I don't feel bad for them.
No.
Just to highlight real quick, this is the GBTC premium. It almost always carries significant premiums. So the fact that it is now at a 11% discount, if you wanted to buy Bitcoin right now, like the best way to do it is probably via GBTC as a retail person. Now, this is part of the problem that can help perpetuate this problem. New issuance is at NAV. So it's the exact opposite of why you would want to get directly issued shares before. So this is going to reduce new issuance because people can get it cheaper on the market with this premium. I definitely think we have to keep watching the story. If it's squeezing speculators who are playing this trade of, long GBTC short futures, they're getting smoked right now. I want to keep watching it, but just wanted to highlight that. And ETH-E is similar. I just don't have the ETH-E premium chart. But yeah, I mean, I wish I wasn't already allocated to ETH-E because I went ahead and put most of my my like active legacy portfolio in ETH-E. I had it in GBTC, put it in ETH-E when that premium got either really low or flat, and I was bullish Ethereum, and now I'd get a heck of a discount. So anyway.
Yeah, that's why the issuance at negative NAV premium is weird to me. I don't know how that works. I don't understand closed end funds. Just make it an ETF already. Just clean it up.
Yeah, that will definitely help. The ARB will be direct. The only reason the premium exists is because people who get direct issuance have to wait 6 months before they can take advantage, like before they can actually sell on the market. So people who got direct issuance, they're not going to sell it now on the direct market. So, but it's up to retail or up to people who buy directly in order to bring this premium back to zero or positive. And we'll probably see some unwinding of that trade as it approaches. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, as more avenues to get crypto open up, you're going to see the premium go to zero. That should be a natural process.
Right. So here's something that I would normally not tell people this in my regular life.
Uh-oh.
But what I would tell people now, if they wanted access to Bitcoin, I'd say just go buy GBTC. You're literally getting a 10 or 11% coupon. So if you have money in retirement accounts, you wish you had more Bitcoin, that's the way to do it. Like via legacy, just go straight to GBTC if you were seeking exposure to Bitcoin. The downside of that is if the market is bearish and we're going to turn down further, then obviously just everything keeps going down. But I feel like this is quite an opportunity that people could take advantage of if they want Bitcoin exposure.
Yeah, I mean, it's even I bought some because why not?
Bo Body asked, could insiders know of an incoming BTC ETF that could cause negative GBTC premium? The ideal scenario would be that the ARB would be very clean, so it would be within a couple of basis points, so like it'd be like super close. So no, it wouldn't cause it to go purely negative other than this trade unwinding very quickly. Our buddy Frankie Scoops over at The Block, he did have an interview on his podcast a couple weeks ago with an ETF whisperer from Bloomberg, I think, who they were hinting that they think the ETF could happen this year, and that it typically is one of those things where the regulating bodies are not ready, and then all of a sudden are super ready. One of the things that guest highlighted, though, was that it would be very strange for them to only approve one, because then you're essentially a kingmaker, right? You're just automatically giving all the original ETF flows to one party. Whereas what they expect is that they'll give some kind of warning to people who've, put proposals in for the ETF. Like, here's kind of the general guidelines, and like end up approving 5 or 10 of them at the same time to prevent being a kingmaker in terms of where all the open interest would go. So that was an interesting interview. I'll try to pull up a screenshot, share a link of that to figure out, to give proper credit. But I just gave you the main summary.
Well, I feel like the best time to convert to ETF is when there isn't a premium, right? Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't even know converting to an ETF was an option until CMS Holdings talked about it on your podcast. I had no idea that was even a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Now, people have talked about GBTC and ETFs for years, but they've never mentioned conversion.
Yeah.
So that blew my mind that was even possible.
And that is obviously the simplest path forward.
Yeah.
All right. So Josh, talk to me about this ETH trade.
Yeah. So I like a neckline of 1666. I like the cloud level at 1666. People might say this is a super late entry for a long trade, but for me, if you're looking for confirmation, it matches the cloud. There's confluence there. I talked about that in a video I did yesterday for BNC. I like the volume profile, the price profile, how it looks is kind of gross, but it is what it is. Yeah, I like everything about this. If we get lower lows, then it's probably Goblin Town 1200 to 1000, somewhere in there.
The failed Head and Shoulders is would be continuation downward, and below 1000 is your prediction.
Right, and then that means you owe me a steak dinner, right? Do
Yeah.
I get 2? If your target's off by 1,000, do I get 2 steak dinners?
That was not in the original terms. For people keeping up at home, the steak dinner is based on whether or not ETH is above 2,500. I think at the end of March. So we got to get on it here, folks. Otherwise, I'm flying to DC and buying dinner.
Yeah, worth. So yeah, I like 1,000. I like 1,500. I like 2,000. I like 2,500. ETH seems to really like those simple psychological support resist levels. Yeah, I just keep looking at ETH fees though. It's like I want to be bullish on the chart. Every time I'm bullish, I just look at the fees and I just man, it's ugly.
Mea Culpa said, Josh, do you take most of your entries and exits using the 4 hour as a basis? Is that your preferred mid time frame to trade off of?
Yeah, I do if I know that we're bullish, like on trend. The 4 hour, if you just look at it, back test it, it performs really well on capturing like reconsolidations, re-entries for like alts specifically. BTC as well, but I don't know if it's as good on the 4 hour. I mean, BTC, it still looks the same as ETH in that it's setting up for a weird looking inverted head and shoulders. Volume is sort of down. It's all things consolidation for sure.
Yeah, one of the things that I like on both Bitcoin and Ethereum today is that there's confluence between pattern, horizontal level, and moving average. And keeping our Ethereum example, the confirmation of this flip is kind of that 1670 range for me, which completes the head and shoulders formation. This is not technically a head and shoulders until it completes this equal high at the neckline. But that would also capture a 4 hour 200 period moving average and the daily 20 period moving average, which is my personal favorite for trend continuation, which basically to me just kind of says, all right, well, this was consolidation, not dump. And when it flips back on that 20, it's kind of a signal to be able to move forward. Bitcoin teased it and then failed it again, but we're not getting like a major dump off of it. If we do, I feel like Bitcoin could go to like 40, 41. But it doesn't seem like the market has a lot of tolerance for that. And then folks keep kind of stepping in, right? Whether it's MicroStrategy or others. People seem willing to buy in those levels. And similarly for ETH, that 1375 2017 all-time high has found buyers. Like that's where the buyers have come in on the 2 days that it was tested. Will it be tested a third time? If so, I think that will go down. It'll also invalidate that head and shoulders that you talked about. So yeah, I think the risk reward here is pretty good. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think everything's trading rather technical, despite what's going on in
Show
bonds
over.
and
Goodbye.
yields. Well, I mean, to me, it looks black and white. And some people are like, why don't you just buy here if you think it's going to go up? Well, you can, right? The risk reward is different. The profile is different than waiting for confirmation.
Yeah.
On ETH.
Hey, let's tie a bow on the GBTC conversation. Katori asked, how do you buy GBTC? You buy GBTC the same way you buy stocks. It's
using my ref link. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's a security that wraps Bitcoin custody. So Grayscale is the company that does GBTC, and they have custody of Bitcoin, and then they offer shares of GBTC as a wrapped security that's tradable on regular markets. It is over-the-counter OTC security, so it's not listed on like the NASDAQ or something. So certain types of accounts may not have access to it. For example, like when I want to self-direct a 401k, even a self-directed version of our 401k, I cannot buy GBTC. I can only buy mutual funds. I can't even buy ETFs. So certain accounts have limitations to prevent you from doing so. But if you have an open-ended, controlled stocks account, whether it's a self-directed IRA or a regular taxable account, you should have access to OTC stuff, and you would simply type in the ticker to your stock portfolio thingy and buy some. It's not the same price as Bitcoin. It's $40 or something, not 40,000. But you can get in or out knowing the price of Bitcoin and then the percent premium. Do your calculation. And someone said if you have a Schwab 401k, apparently they will let you buy GBTC. Although I've thought the employer has some control over what you have access to, but I don't know. That's enough. You can do your research from there.
Yeah, I had people asking me about the Canadian ETFs. Well, there's one that's they say is an ETF but isn't, and then there's an actual Canadian ETF that's an ETF. I think the actual ETF is the best buy if you have access to it because of the fees.
Yeah.
But if you want to gamble on the negative discount or the negative premium on GBTC,
I don't think that's much of a gamble. If you want it, you're getting a coupon. You're just gambling whether or not the coupon will get significantly bigger.
Yeah, but it's like catching a knife, right? The discount could go lower.
Yeah, screw
Their
it.
expectation
No
is it
different than
turns
buying
positive.
Bitcoin.
I mean, yeah, but we're making it sound like it's a risk-free thing, you know? I don't think it's...
I think it's relatively risk-free relative to the price of Bitcoin.
Okay.
I think the premium will turn to zero, so which is a 12% advantage. But
I hope so.
But your exposure to Bitcoin will still be 1-to-1. Nevertheless, we got a question that I want to spend some time on. But first, do you want to give your pitch on BTC there? What you expect?
I was just going to say on the alligator fractal, which is another trend following entry exit stop loss thing. It's all just saying more consolidation, just like late January, just like November, December. All this stuff, no matter how you slice it, isn't saying bullish or bearish just yet. It's definitely saying wait and see. So there are a lot of people who are chomping at the bit to get into position here. I think it's a little too early. As much as I like ETH so far, it's definitely a wait and see. For me, at least for me on leverage, I don't have any leverage positions open right now.
Yeah, I think it's a fine time to get in if you're being patient.
Yeah, I like spot buys, just averaging in. ETHBTC still looks like hot garbage to me, though. That chart is just atrocious. Absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, we'll dig back into that in a bit.
Yeah.
One of the questions that we got was, do we think Bitcoin's strength has been impressive given legacy volatility? And I want to talk about legacy volatility a bit because a lot of rumbling in the market. People weren't overly pleased with Jay Powell's Fed stuff, and some people think that the legacy market may turn over. Personally, I don't know. It had 3 big down days, finally found some support right at the 2021 open, I'll note, 2 days in a row. And it's actually, the market's turned green on the day now for Friday, and looks like it may close the week with some strength. I personally believe legacy will probably chop around a bit. And you could be patient there as well. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my sister-in-law who's doing some retirement savings, and I've been helping her onboard for a structured portfolio. And I feel so responsible. Like, I'm so much more degenerate in my personal life, but I'm quite conservative in what I talk to her about like how to save for the future. But it was interesting trying to explain to someone that's relatively new to investing, to like how to approach a market going down psychologically, or going up, or going all in, or waiting, or doing tranches and all that stuff. So that was fun. And it's inspired me to put together some 101 type content from an educational perspective for allocating portfolios. And I hope to put that out. So if people are interested in that, let me know. And we'll try to do a dedicated series.
Do you know what I'm going to say about that chart that you're showing?
It looks like it's going to form a head and shoulders.
There you go. See, people think TA is hard, not obvious. It's up or down, false. Even smooth brain people like Brian can see it.
So what could happen here, and I agree, Josh, this could be the type of thing that occurs, is lower high forms. And all that's going to mean is you have a high, a lower high, and it's going to be a signal that there's just not enough buying power in the market. Now, then what could also happen is that it gets gobbled up and it turns into clean consolidation, and the market goes up from there. That's what happens if you wait until something's not confirmed, is it could just do this too. So I think we will have one of these scenarios, Joshua, and this is what you could end up with, right? So I do think we probably have the whole month in the S&P 500 to chop around and not do much of anything. And whether we turn into consolidation and up or consolidation and break down, I don't know. I'm fine with the market taking a breather. My inflation narrative, though, is pretty strong, which makes it really hard to believe in like long-term weakness in equities. I feel like maybe the Qs will roll over, but I have a hard time betting against the S&P 500 personally right now.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen food costs lately? They just continue
to go up. Supply chain is completely wrecked right now. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going in legacy markets. It's not a legacy market podcast, but a couple things I wanted to note. And you've got the Dixie pulled up. This is the U.S. dollar for our friends at home that are new to the show. This is the dollar as a relative trade to other currencies. So it's the dollar can be weak but still strong versus other currencies. So something to highlight there.
It has. I talked about this last week. I specifically said, in a vacuum, this looks like a bullish reversal trade based on where it sits in the daily cloud. And here we are back at 92 with a bullish Kumo breakout starting on the daily, mean reverting to the 200-day moving average. All this looks super bullish for, if I saw this on anything else, I'd say this looks amazing. Or bullish continuation. It looks really good. 12-hour looks great. So that's concerning if you're a crypto bull because of the negative correlation there with BTC. But
yeah,
I think VIX was down today, no?
I think volatility is actually going down in legacy while the market goes down, which is kind of interesting.
I don't know. None of it makes sense because gold is still dumping super hard.
Well, a lot of stuff is correlated to real rates and long-term rates, and the 30-year is going up with this inflation expectation, putting a damper on growth stocks. We've described some of this before. My take on the dollar is I think it's mean reversion that will get rejected, whether it makes it to 92.90 or something to make the this people are very short the dollar. They're very short the Dixie. They have pretty good reason to do so. However, a lot of stuff can get priced in sometimes. And also, if there's a consensus trade, it is possible for the market to make it harder so that fewer people win, because markets love to do that. I won't be surprised if it chops around below 93 for quite a while to shake out a lot of the people anticipating much lower prices. And we'll have to see how that impacts Bitcoin in particular. But I'm not going to get bullish on this unless it actually completely recaptures this 200-day simple moving average, which is my personal preferred way to look at moving averages, which is different than Josh's. They're a little slower, but I feel like they're a little more certain of support and resistance when they occur. And it ends up being also a more clear break above the 2020 consolidation range for the Dixie. Which would indicate to me that this thing might want to move significantly higher back to 94, 95. So I am not going to get bullish on the dollar. Sorry. Won't do it. Refuse. I just feel like it's shaking people out of a crowded trade.
If that was a shit coin, you'd be buying the crap out of it.
No comment.
This gold chart, it just looks hideous. Maybe this will reverse eventually, but maybe it goes to like the 2011 low or whatever, somewhere in here, at the 200.
Yeah, gold just continues to be very weak. This is also related to rates. Yeah,
but it's so weird that everything's falling together. I don't know. None of the logical correlations make any sense at all to me.
Well, it's related to this. As these rates go up, and as real rates go up, it ends up putting pressure on gold. And in my mind, it's just this chart, this being tested, and it feels like it's going to pause out. This rebound up on 30-year yield is due to several things, but I think this will. I mean, if anything, it looks starting to look like it's already a bit toppy to me. I'm going to continue to watch it though, and I think it plays into the Qs rolling over. I think it plays into dollar strength. I think it plays into gold weakness, and I think it's all of this is just squeezing people out of a more important fundamental trade. But yeah, gold's lagging. I'm still bullish on gold miners and gold to some degree, but it's not proving it yet, and especially when other metals are doing pretty well, like copper and stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna let you present this bearish DeFi case.
I haven't looked at this since a couple days ago, but
now you're just like, oh, let me draw some diamonds. I saw it happen.
Looking at charts online versus candles, like you see different stuff. When some people say, yeah, it's just pareidolia, you're full of garbage, Josh, whatever. But I can't see this and be bullish, right? Especially with declining volume, especially with all this volume consolidation up here. To me, this says if we break down, path of least resistance is the 200-day moving average, right? So, and people who aren't familiar with diamonds, there was a really great one on BNB. This is probably the best diamond top I've ever seen on any market, right here. So volatile. It's a crudely drawn diamond, but the point is that this is what you want to see. I think BNB draws their patterns as they see fit. So it's not exactly like organic market activity, but this is the example of what you want to see with the diamond top reversal for sure. There was one on Amazon. I don't know if that actually played out. I remember this from a few weeks back. Yeah, it didn't really shape up to be an actual diamond, but yeah, it's hard for me to get bullish. And I don't want to be bullish DeFi because I want to get in. I want everything to sell off. I want the top longers to get wrecked and fill my bids, right? Like that's
How rude.
If we're being honest here, that's what I want to see. So,
How very rude.
what are you bullish on right now for DeFi? A
Uh,
lot of I'll say this, the exchange tokens look in super consolidation mode. Some of the other stuff looks much better than the exchange tokens. I think the exchange token rise is definitely slowing.
yeah. The other thing that I think we can look at in this regard, and I don't have my normal chart up, so my colors are messed up. This is actually DeFi Pulse relative to ETH. And I think that's an interesting trade. You talked about being bullish ETH and looking at DeFi Pulse, the DeFi Pulse index. It looks like it's pretty normal consolidation, but it could, if it loses 0.26 or so, then I would get more concerned. And not to say that that would be bearish on those dollar trades, but just that ETH is going to outperform. At some point, I expect that to be the case, right? Like a lot of what we've seen is the DeFi tokens, top DeFi tokens, kind of taking the spotlight away from Ethereum. That's been my theory for why Ethereum has underperformed, especially its all-time high breakouts, because people go immediately for the higher beta play of the DeFi tokens. So one of my thoughts on DeFi is what if that slows down and more of the activity goes back to ETH itself? Also aligns well if the 1559 token burning stuff starts to happen. If that's occurring in June or whenever that next upgrade is, that'll start getting priced in much sooner and makes me pretty bullish for Ethereum for Q2 since it's already March. But what if DeFi tokens actually lag that? That would be what I am personally interested in.
There's still a lot of institutional money rolling into DeFi still. So I do think there's going to be another wave of speculators still getting in. And this is from people like I'm personally talking to. They're still like establishing their fund and like getting into the market.
Yeah.
The typical conversation is like 60% BTC and ETH, 20% DeFi, 20% random stuff. That's typical for people who are getting in now.
I think to summarize my thoughts on DeFi stuff though, I think it might be more individual coins, individual events that cause movement rather than across the board like we saw in January and the first half of February. Like you could have thrown a stick at just about anything and it be bullish, whereas I think it may be a little more difficult to find the proper trades based on some fundamental events or whatever else. The example I gave in Weekly Open, the other show that we do on Mondays, go to weeklyopen.com to subscribe to that. Josh and I do that with some other friends, Luke and Don Alt. I want to see like on Aave $420 get flipped. And I want to see also this higher low turn into a big consolidation. But even if this does, it could fit that same narrative, right? Like this is a daily chart. Like this could consolidate for quite a while potentially something like Ethereum runs. And it could take some time. Like Aave is not necessarily going to just jump to new highs. It can consolidate another month without new highs. And I am okay with that because it's going to make, when it does break out, be a fantastic trade. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I feel like everybody should be rooting for consolidation over the next 4 weeks.
Oh, let me show one more real quick. It's not necessarily across the board though. Like Uni looks like it's ready to go, but also Uni V3 is kind of imminent. So it's the type of thing where, Aave could consolidate while Uni goes, or, maybe Sushi will keep going, or maybe Sushi will roll over, or, I don't know. Like I think they're individual trades. It's not necessarily the basket. So your trading prowess based on the way you analyze the technicals, the way you understand the fundamentals, the news-based events could be what allows you to outperform other traders in the ecosystem right now with DeFi. Whereas, like I said, in January and early February, pretty much all you had to do was throw a stick at it.
Yeah, I think just being patient is fine, honestly. I'm definitely not sell everything you got sort of bearish. Although the prospect of GBTC blowing up and having to sell 650K BTC is not a bullish scenario.
Wait, who's selling 650K?
No, that's how much GBTC has.
Oh,
If if they blow up for whatever reason.
yeah. Well, you know.
This is DeFi perp over BTC. Dr. Phil in the chat asked me to bring this one up. I don't know what this even looks like to me.
It's not
just sort of,
it's not confirmed in any direction, right?
yeah, I don't know. Needs more time. Um,
The show title, we need some people to help us with the show title this week because right now it's Consolidate and Wait. Which is,
yeah,
I don't think it's gonna lure the listeners in.
I'm not like super excited about anything, right? I think it's pretty clear based on our attitude here. Like we're not like this is super bullish or any of that stuff. It's just kind of doing its thing, which is what we needed. We were way too hot on so many metrics, on-chain metrics for BTC specifically. ETH fees got way too high. They're still high. This stuff just needs to chill.
Dare I say, it doesn't have to be up only all the time.
What do you mean, Brian?
Despite my podcast title, yeah, I'm looking for individual trade ideas. I think it's kind of my personal summary of what I want. Of the ones I like, I feel like there are some chart patterns that are looking. Some are looking better than others.
I want deep knife stab capitulations. That's what I want.
I don't think you're going to get it. How about
I want
that?
to scoop up some shitcoin tiers. That's really what I want.
Well, maybe you'll get it. Maybe you won't. I don't know. I got asked about ZRX and Rook. I wonder why people that follow me are asking about those. I've been super bullish on both for different reasons. ZRX is very, I don't know, you could call it dicey on the daily dollar chart. The chart that I really like is ZRX ETH and the 200-day moving average and the consolidation that it's had. So it doesn't look bad versus ETH, and it's also almost a month in. And it's in this range that is right below the prior floor that it broke down from in October 2020. So this seemed like very clear capitulation, consolidation, push up, reconsolidation. Now is it going to go down and retest, or is it going to push up and do well? Fundamentally, I still feel like ZRX is one of the more undervalued charts that exists, or undervalued projects that exist. So this is the fundamental plus technical component. I actually think ZRX has an ability to outperform ETH, and what I like about this at the consolidation and this 200-day is it gives pretty clear invalidation. Now, will I be out of ZRX if it makes a new low? Yeah, probably. Let's see what that percentage is before I like really get stressed about it. If it goes down another 10% or so versus Ethereum, then I'm gonna have to reconsider my position. But personally, I like it. And then
I like that flag thing.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, it's ZRX versus ETH. Rook is more of a fundamental play for me. On the long term, like it basically got sold on the exchange listing, which I wish I'd sold more, obviously. In the lower time frames, it looks okay. It doesn't look like, it looks like maybe some reaccumulation from people who are okay paying prices that it was in mid-January. And it's at a pretty steep discount. I still like Rook, still hold a lot of Rook. It's my largest altcoin position, so I'm biased on it, but I'm not looking to sell it from a pure fundamental perspective. I've reaccumulated quite a bit. What are you looking at?
I own 0 and will never own any. So how about that?
Wow, how about them apples?
How about them apples?
Let's fight.
I was scanning some stuff, looking at Link. Link actually hit its 1-year MA multiplier ish. Barely missed it on February 15th. I like seeing indicators I'm watching play out as expected. So that just continues to tell me that I'm looking at the right thing. I should continue to pay attention to it. the targets are continuing to be valid. Yeah, I don't know. Link still looks fine to me. Doge somehow still above 100 sats. How many weeks is this above
Yeah,
100
Doge is
sats?
just Doge is untradable, unchartable. I wouldn't
Yeah, I
do
mean,
it.
I'm not gonna touch it, but it's just amazing it's still up here.
Hey, let me add one thing to the Rook conversation. Stubby
Oh
in the chat,
god, oh god.
Stubby in the chat brought up that Rook has twice the revenue that Aave has, but a much smaller market cap, and that is a big part of why I'm very bullish on Rook. Is it has a very clear value accrual concept that can be given back to token holders over time, and so yeah, I like it. Sorry. Community member talk or not, I'm up a lot on Rook on a lifetime basis. I may be down 50%, but it's okay. I will live.
I've lost generational losses, but it's
I've
okay.
lost generational wealth from the top.
Like tears in the rain. I did a thing on Maker this week. Somebody was telling me that Maker is the most underpriced asset right now. Speaking of like
Yeah.
nav to whatever.
Yeah, things that are used, things that have fee accrual or to like value accrual, Maker, ZRX, Rook,
They're actually burning.
Bancor, BNT, all of those qualify for that in my mind.
They're doing this burn thing that should be bullish for the token price. I don't
Maker
know.
burn. People love burning.
It's like the master nodes of the day. It makes sense. It's like stock buybacks, right?
Yeah, don't tell the SEC.
Yeah, I mean it's a security model for sure, which is why I'm surprised it's on Coinbase. But hey, what do they care anymore, right?
Yeah. I'm going to shill BNT. I don't own any. I should. It looks really good. Maybe I'll own some after the show. I'm just shilling my buddy Messi's bags here. It looks like it's going to make a new high. From a token valuation relative to revenue, like one of those fundamental metrics in DeFi, BNT is like way down on the list alongside ZRX. So I think if you like ZRX, if you like stuff that is really kind of at the forefront of quality DeFi technology, BNT fits pretty much in that scenario as well. My only saltiness is that I didn't get it a lot cheaper. Like I pretty easily could have bought this at like $3.50 or $3 or whenever Messi started shilling it to me. So now I'm going to have to buy his bags higher. But I actually still think it's good value, and actually the chart looks very strong. So this is the type where, you might be able to play it from like $6.70 to $10 or something like that. That's a fantastic trade in this environment. So I really like that. How's it look versus the cloud?
Back in my day, BNT was a failed experiment.
Yeah, but that's what it's the same concept with ZRX. People are like, this thing is dead, it's done, it screwed it up, and it's like, oh yeah, and by the way, they also have built a lot of stuff that's really important in DeFi and actually works, and people just don't realize it yet, and it ends up making them undervalued. Let me give one other thing about what happens with BNT. I didn't believe it for a while when people were like, yeah, there's no impermanent loss. Well, they have this like gigabrain thing that they do where you can provide single-sided liquidity, and when you do, it so it supports Rook and it increased Rook liquidity a lot. So I'm shilling 2 bags in one here. Wow. Wow. Just
The shill per second is off the chart.
The shill per second is like super high. We can call it shill or we can call it alpha. Pick your poison.
Okay.
All right. So what it does is if I go and deposit my Rook, it'll actually, if there's not a BNT holder ready to deposit on the other side, it mints new BNT, but then BNT holders can come and replace that minted BNT. So it's not actually like increasing inflation on BNT. It's like a synthetic BNT that comes in for the purpose of enabling the added liquidity. And then there's this kind of 100-day, I don't know what you call it, like kind of impermanent loss insurance that establishes itself over time. So if you keep it pooled for long enough, then you'll have a lot of protection against that impermanent loss. I don't know exactly how all of it works, but they have this very clever like mint and burn system that enables the single-sided liquidity, which I've established many times as one of the most important components of doing better with the way decentralized trading protocols work. Messy, you can tell me I did this really poorly later, but that's my best attempt at the BNT concept and what they're doing. Oh, one other thing it does is it also gives an ability to earn an APY, like yield on tokens. So right now, like you can't bond your Rook to a keeper or something. They don't have that stuff out yet, but you can earn like, I don't know, 20% or something per year if you put Rook or other supported tokens and pool them on Bancor's platform. So what I've seen in a very real way is it's more than doubled the Rook liquidity, and you can earn yield on it. So it's quite a powerful argument for BNT because it's enabling that stuff. So there you go. That's the justification, to some degree, the fundamental valuation, and why I think you'll see that represented in price over time, and what makes picking one thing versus another thing very different versus just throwing it at the wall.
Is that the BNT ad? Did
Yeah,
they
sure.
pay you? Did they pay you to say all
They
that?
did
Or
not.
just,
Can you guys,
okay.
if you work at Bancor, can you just ledgercast.eth, just deposit, just throw it over there. All the monies, I'll take it. This podcast is for sale. Send me 1 million BNTs.
Yeah, I just my brain just shut off when you were explaining.
Oh yeah, here you go. My Pat, he's a mod, he's a buddy, and he just wins the award because I'm gonna throw the third shill in there. Our longtime partner, Matcha, they actually pull liquidity straight from Bancor. So if you go trade on Matcha, one of our show sponsors, it just knows the liquidity is there. And guess who makes matcha? ZRX. The shill fest is complete. Off we go.
Shill trifecta.
Way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, everything, I don't know, everything just kind of looks inverted head and shoulders-y in the crypto land. Even Wi-Fi, as pathetic as Wi-Fi's
Even
been.
Wi-Fi. I have no desire to touch Wi-Fi.
I'm never going to touch it, but the structure looks just as messy as any other 4-hour time frame right now.
Yeah, it's also on top of that volume profile, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's plenty of setups throughout March here that you can lean into, for sure. That isn't
lean in
stuff that isn't ETH and BTC.
So that's how we'll summarize. There are trades out there, people. You just have to find them.
Wow, such alpha.
Just have to buy my bags. You'll be fine. I'm going to buy BNT after we get off the show. So how about them apples? Yeah. You know what? Maybe Tulip will buy BNT. And you can do that with our partner Token Sets, who also uses the 0x protocol. All you got to do is go to ledgerstatus.com/sets. Wow.
Told me the shill fest was over, and then you smacked me in the face.
Maybe Tulip will just do a basket of Rook and ZRX and BNT, and we'll just enter the Citadel after the next 30 days.
We will be embraced at the Citadel door.
Ad status from now on. This was not intended, but this is why my partners are companies I believe in. So this show feels dirty now. We're getting negative comments. Here come the bad reviews. Look, y'all wanted something more fun than Consolidate and Wait. Here you go. Shill my bags, buy my bags. Use our sponsors. Someone should shill you to showers. Have we talked about Solana yet, Josh? What do you think about Solana?
Yeah. I don't know if I think anything about Solana.
Since you complained about ETH fees.
Yeah. Same thing with BNB. I don't have anything to say about it, honestly, other than just look at the chart and see what it tells you, I guess. Wow.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'll call him Pinches. Does Josh feel anything? And the answer is no. Josh is dead inside, I'm been dead. For years.
I've never been alive. What is dead may never die. I don't know. Everything either looks toppy or inverted head and shoulders to me. Solana looks like an inverted Adam and Eve to me if you zoom in a little bit. Like this is a very different picture
Yeah, Solana ran pretty hard.
than ETH. I mean,
I think that's what you might run into is like if something's already run really hard, maybe it chills, you know? Same thing we talked about Aave back when I said the trade for Aave was $90 to $500, and guess what? You just shouldn't have touched it since. That counts for me too.
Dot looks not so great to me. BNB probably looks maybe looks okay, I guess. It's kind of a mixture of both of the inverted head and shoulders and M double top situation. I feel like it's way overblown at this price compared to where it was. This is up like what, 1 billion% in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch BNB. I'll share another chart that I think looks good. Not my own bag, not shill in my own bag. I had it for a hot minute and sold it at break even and have been having fun staying poor ever since. But Matic has both NFT and layer 2 fundamental vibes that make it appealing, and it looks like it could recapture its 20-day and move up from here. I was told I should look at it at 11 cents by my friend David from Bankless, and I bought it, and then I sold it, and then I was sad because it's doubled since. And it looks like it actually wants continuation here. So that's another one that looks good. The theme of this story is that these are different setups for different charts and different tokens. It is not all the same. ADA looks done to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just looking at this continuing bearish divergence with each high. Yeah, it doesn't look good to me at all. I don't know. I have a bias against it to begin with, but
You don't like Charles.
I don't think, well, you just leaked
Who does
my
like
secret.
Charles?
You just leaked my secret. He's younger than both of us, apparently.
I
But
don't understand how that's possible. Can we just take a second to how is Charles Hoskinson 33? He
he looks,
like he could be 43 or more.
yeah.
You
Yeah, I
had
don't know.
Monero up earlier. Did you have thoughts about it?
No, I was just kind of scanning all the non DeFi stuff. Ripple, Monero, Tezos. I think Monero still looks fine. Still looks in markup to me. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing's like super exciting here, but it doesn't look like it's dire straits or anything.
Yeah. Oh, I have one. I don't even know if this is listed for places for Americans to buy. This has a fundamental argument. My friend Derek really likes it. Helium, they have a node system. It's a neat little project, but this BTC relative chart interests me because it looks like a lifetime inverted head and shoulders potential. And if it can get over basically 1,000 sats, it looks like it could have significant markup. So that's a random one that I don't own, but I think looks interesting. And by the way, people in the chat ask us about altcoins all the time. They ask me to shill my bags all the time, and now they're giving me crap when I do exactly that. So easy there, chat. Easy
Good
there.
for them. Give them crap, but good for them.
Serum is another question. I don't know anything about what Serum's chart looks like. I can't buy Serum. I know the fully diluted value is a meme, but it's like $69 billion or something, so I can't do it.
Raven was another one that exploded.
Radium? Yeah, it's a Sam
Raven,
coin.
Raven.
Oh, Raven.
I still don't know why, but
Ravens,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't trust that one for more than, I don't call it a pump and dump, but
I'm not gonna call it a pump and dump, but it's a pump and dump.
yeah, it just has these moments, and it's like if you miss the 2 or 3 weeks where Raven goes insane, then you just don't want to touch it for years after that. Hex is a scam, per the question.
I love that. I love that people come in here with our small audience and shill Hex.
Yeah, well, it happens.
It's truly
Hex is
amazing.
a scam, and what's his face? What's the guy's name? David. Oh, Hart.
That's not even worth saying his name, dude.
Whatever. Well, he wanted to get up on the Up Only podcast, and I was like, LOL,
I bet.
no.
I bet he did.
Richard Hart, scammer. Take that to the bank.
Yeah, everything just looks like it's consolidating. Go outside, take take advice that I would never take. Go outside. Go have some fun. That's all I got. I got nothing else.
You got
I
nothing
know there's
else.
a bunch of news about Kraken. Jesse, if you're listening, Jesse Paul, I told Miha this privately, but Jesse needs to stop tweeting. Jesse needs to
You need
realize
a PR
that
person.
yes, they need a PR person. Jesse needs to realize that it wasn't a fat finger. It was 100% structural integrity of the exchange. This has very little to do with the leverage on the exchange. The exchange is trash. It has been trash for a while. I still have to use it because it's the only place I can use leverage. It's unfortunate. If you lost money, you have to go on social media. You have to vote with your dollars. You have to make a big stink. And Jesse's just digging a deeper grave. So it surprises me that he continues to act the way he does, being in this space for as long as he's been in this space.
Kraken, not a sponsor. Kraken
Anyway,
definitely will not be a sponsor.
I'd love to talk to Jesse on a podcast if he's willing to sit down and talk about that, because it feels like he's just doing damage mitigation, service recovery, and not like being truthful or honest with himself.
Meanwhile, their latest fundraise puts them at like a $20 billion valuation. So he seriously doesn't have to care at all. He'll just be extraordinarily rich.
Yeah, I think there's a definite correlation there with him talking about stuff on Twitter and the valuation.
Maybe so. Can we leave it there, or do you have anything else?
That's all I got. I feel like
why don't you shill yourself, Josh? Show me your YouTube channel or something.
Yeah, youtube.com/Carpe Noctem. Brave New Coin, 12 videos a week. Their YouTube video, Twitter's popping off. Up Only continues to get just, it's amazing how you can get people like instantly to come on that thing and just be people,
Yeah, Niraj made his first ever media appearance on Up Only TV. Follow our other projects and catch up with us on Monday. We'll be there at weeklyopen.com. It's a Monday stream that you can watch the replay of as well. So this is kind of our wrap of stuff, and then the Monday Weekly Open is kind of the intro to the week, things we're watching for the week. All of that we're happy to provide. We're happy to be here with y'all, and we're thankful for Token Sets for being our partner. Go to ledgerstatus.com/sets. You know what you could do that would be a big favor? You could rate and review this show in iTunes. Give us a review, good or bad, but mostly good. Bye.
Monuments crumble